every breath. See my message start to spread, and I had so many dreams. Then you hit your teens, life ain't really what it seems. Try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
But it's too late.
What a match!
All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright. Staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us. Like a good drug, never run off. We'd hook up in my yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick.
This is Jack.
Yeah, everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes, but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home, on my own, in the zone. That's the only way I know, feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself, I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, it's so cold outside, I'm alone. always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way even when I'm feeling down. I fight, even when I don't know what is right. I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone.
All right, hello, everybody, and welcome to a little special show match we have presented to you. Team India versus Team Pakistan in a international affair. I'm sure a lot of people here probably do not recognize this voice. My name is Maximilian Thor von Neumann, also known as Formal Casting or Formal. Taha, unfortunately, could not be here on this analyst desk. Even though that lovely picture is there, I can say I am not that gentleman hiding behind the phone, but the one hiding behind the computer. Bop is here, and I'm excited because, as the accent can tell, a little bit of an outsider. I'm not as familiar with as much of the Middle Eastern scene, in particular Pakistan. I don't know too much about, and I'm kind of hoping you're going to be the expert here who can sort of explain both of these two teams today.
Yeah, definitely. I've been doing a lot of research recently about these teams, and both of them honestly are looking really strong recently. They've had strong showings recently, and I think it's going to be a good match today.
Yeah, I'm excited to sort of see this match and see how it plays out. Now, it's not necessarily just Team India versus Team Pakistan. These are actual organizations coming at each other. For India, it is Taipan Esports. For Pakistan, it is Salt, I believe they go by. And I have to admit, Taipan Esports, I'm a little bit more familiar with. In fact, the first Asian game I had the luxury of casting was way back when, a couple years ago, for APL, where Hargun just like went on an absolute tear and left such a strong impression where I was thinking like, oh my goodness, this is someone who on like good ping could probably be one of the better players in the world almost. Granted, I was maybe a little young and naive, but Hargun definitely left his mark. And when you sort of look at the lineup that surrounds him, I feel like coming into this one, just because of the known versus the unknown, they kind of would be favorites, no?
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't agree more with you. Argon is insane. He's been popping off recently. Like in just a couple years back, he won a huge 1v1 tournament. And India, the biggest 1v1 tournament India has seen, he won 2,800 USD. And yeah, he's kind of like, if you look at NA, you think of energy, you think of like Justin. He's kind of like that kind of player. He can pop off. He could do like everything he wants for his team. And yeah, if he shows up today, it's going to be really hard to stop them.
And that's not to say Abscrazy or Asphyx. I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong. I do apologize, or any slouches as well. I know I've been seeing more and more of Abscrazy in particular. Really, realistically, both of these. I mean, they did win that APL Indian Nationals tournament that happened just a couple months ago. So when you're sort of looking at some of the stronger teams within this part of the world, definitely they are up there. But Salt, no slouches either. I mean, this is one of the better teams from Pakistan. They placed fifth in the Intel World Open qualifiers. That pretty much included all of the Middle East during up against. And, when you think Middle East, you think some teams like Sandrock. So they always were going to be fighting that uphill battle. But to finish in the top 5 does speak a lot as we take a look at that lineup right here. Hamza, as well as Anas and I'm going to pronounce so many names wrong, and I do apologize, but PriminiS, I believe, is how it's pronounced, and I'm really excited to see how these three do work together.
Yeah, these guys have been together for a bit, and they have honestly really good chemistry. Like you said, they got fifth in the Inter World Open qualifiers, which is a great result for them because Pakistan, you don't really think about Pakistan when you think about like the Rocket League scene. So the fact that they got this far, they beat a bunch of Middle Eastern teams, and they did really well in that tournament. So it speaks a lot to how good they are. And yeah, these guys are really insane. You think of Anas in particular, he mechanically is insane. Like if you go to his Twitter, see some of his clips, he hits really nice stuff. So yeah, this is a good roster.
I'm glad you gave me a player to focus on, I believe, with this lineup, because I'm gonna take that and try and run with it. It is a little awkward being put in a position where I'm kind of learning about a team as we do come in to watch them play. But because I just know everyone in the Twitch chat probably knows way more about this team, and everyone who's watching probably knows more about this team than perhaps I do. So I hope they're treating it almost like a React channel, and we're going to see something really cool coming into effect right here. Granted, not going to be alone in casting this game, because I do believe we have a third caster as well who will be in the game with me. I'm, of course, speaking of Cryptic Zane, who will be coming in as well. As soon as the players are ready, we will be jumping onto the pitch and getting at it. Real quick, though, Bob, I suppose, before we do go into it, once again, referring to your expertise right now, I want to hear a prediction, just because it's, A, the most cliche thing we can ever do in a situation like this, and B, it's fun to hold people accountable. So I'm just going to straight up ask, who's winning this matchup and why?
I mean, overall, if I have to be honest, I mean, India team here is definitely the stronger team. They have a lot, like I said, Pakistan team has chemistry, but the Indian team, they've been playing together for a while. They've been winning weeklies, monthlies all the time. Not only three tournaments, two tournaments they play, they win everything. They've literally never lost a tournament in India before. So overall, they're probably the stronger team. I would have to give it to them, but I think it could be a close series. Could be like a 4-2, possibly even a 4-3 for India, I'd say.
If we can get a full 7, I have to admit, I will be losing my mind. I'm really hoping that's going to be the case. However, I'm also curious what you in the chat have to think about this one. I believe a poll is going to be getting set up in the very near future, where you can throw your vote and kind of explain in a little bit more detail why everything I'm saying is just so incorrect, and I should listen to Bob more than going off on my own when I say ridiculous things like India's going to win this one 4-1 or 4-0 as my prediction. I'm sorry, it's the known versus the unknown, at least in my eyes. Hoping to be proven wrong, but as it stands, I gotta go with my gut. I gotta go with my analyst's prediction, which is going to be that. Still curious to see what everyone else will say. Moving in, though, you kind of highlighted Anas as sort of an exciting player to watch. Anything else we should be on the look for this matchup before we kick off with our opening game?
I mean, like I said, Hargun himself, he's incredible, especially in like 1v1 scenarios. If you want him to like score a goal, like you got him on the field. He can do almost anything. And then, like I said, Anas as well. He can hit some nutty clips. You never know. He can pop off.
User in your channel was
Both
kicked
things,
from the
anything's
server.
possible here, really.
Anything can and will be possible, I am sure. Oh, it's
All
kind of
right,
freaky
guys,
when you
we're
hear
gonna.
secret messages like that. That said, I believe it's time to start making our way towards the pitch. And on that note, Bob, thank you for leading in some of your insight. But now it's time to introduce Cryptic Zane, or Cryptic, as I'm going to be referring to him as. Again, someone who I think is probably a little bit more familiar with the scene and everyone watching than I would be. And Cryptic, how are you feeling? Do you kind of agree with Bob's prediction coming into this one?
Yeah, tonight's going to be a crazy night. We are having Pakistan versus India, Salty Sports versus Taipan, and as you said, I have seen them a lot. I have seen them a lot of times in a lot of tournaments, and I've had the pleasure of casting these incredible players like Asphyx, Abscrazy, and Hargun. Definitely mechanical players, and as well as today we have Salt, Hamza, Anas, and PriminiS. It's going to be a really exciting game. And as for the predictions, for myself, I think I'm going to go with a similar prediction. I'm going to think it's 4-3 to India.
All right. Wow. A lot of pretty much that's 3-0 picking India in this one. I'm starting to think maybe I should, go against the grain and
Yeah, maybe
try
you
and
should.
show Salt a little bit of love, but I think I've been running into enough Salt already in a lot of these solo games I've been playing as of late. We are going to be starting in about 30 seconds, I do believe. So people do get ready for this matchup right now. No cricket being played. It's going to be a Rocket League instead. Although we are on, the most cricket-looking pitch, I have to admit. Like,
User
I
was
forgot
moved
the
to
name.
your channel.
Which stadium is this one again called? I actually forget. It's Champions Field. Duh. Yeah. How could I forget Champions Field? Champions Field looks like a cricket pitch. That's looks like we're apparently something's wrong with Champions Field though, because it looks like we're going to be changing servers.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. You forget the name of one stadium and then they just have to change everything for it.
Yeah, they did it all because of you, for
Mhm.
how could
Blame
you
me. Yeah, no, exactly. Like that's what I'm trying to get at. Just don't blame anyone else. It's entirely my fault. I will take the blame for this one.
Any
We will
guesses
be
in
going.
chat what the next stadium is going to be, though, as we
Hmm.
join in to the next server?
What would be the most fitting stadium for this one?
I
Like,
mean, my personal favorite is just DFH Stadium. I don't know about you.
I'm Beckwith Park Knight.
Beckwith
I
Park,
love
right?
Beckwith Park Knight. Yeah, that's gonna be. Oh well, it looks like this one's not the correct one either, though. So we're gonna keep going through. Sorry to any Mansfield fans out there. We were loading into Mansfield Night, and then apparently that server as well wasn't quite finding the ping our players was looking for. And I find this interesting because yes, this is an exhibition match. Yes, it is for fun, but ping still very, very important to these players. I have a feeling we're actually seeing some competitive streak in both sides coming into this match as a result.
Yeah, definitely. And as you've seen, some of these players, they don't actually get to play in their regions most of the time. So they do usually play on other regions like EU and Middle East, where they have higher ping. And I think a good thing about that is they have higher adaptability to any server they play, and they get accustomed to the players that they play, and that actually increases their experience as a Rocket League player, even though there is a bad side of having ping because you have to predict where the ball is maybe 2 seconds before. So it has its pros and cons, but here we are going to play on almost equal matchup in a great server. So we're just waiting to get the right server for both these teams to play at their best.
Yeah, exactly. And that's is what we want to see. What happens when these teams kind of go at each other with the weighted clothing taken off, being able to play, or whether or not they're even able to adapt, I suppose, to what would be that much faster ping and reaction time. I do know I'm always impressed whenever players, again, from the Indian team, just because of more exposure there, have been able to adapt against teams from like Indonesia or Singapore, per se, who have those ping advantages, and yet they're still able to keep up and stay competitive. Granted, it's rare that they'll win those events. Like a lot of the nice Cactus Asia clashes do tend to go usually to the Three Rats or whatever Japanese team Realize happens to be playing on at the time. But usually you'll see that Indian squad, make the top 6 or make the top 4 on rare occasion at a 200 ping disadvantage. And it speaks volumes to the sort of caliber of these players. And it's why I am so excited to see them on what is a more even playing ground. Speaking on behalf of a different region, where we don't get exposed as much to these Rocket League players, it's very exciting to see what they can do on their own turf.
Yeah, definitely. I can relate with what you said. These players are going to have a chance to show their true skills today. And as your wish has been granted, because we have just joined into Beckwith Park, that is your favorite field, which you mentioned.
Yep.
We will be having these players join up soon. So hopefully, uh, tell us in the chat, who do you think that's going to win this match today between Salt Esports and Taipan? Definitely from the casters side and the analyst desk, we have India, but I'm sure there is a lot of Pakistani fans also there rooting for their Salt Esports as we get to see this region for the first time here in India as well.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure. I mean, look, again, I'm sorry I keep falling back on personal anecdotes. It's just kind of what I have to work with right here. But the last time I watched a Pakistani sports team, it actually was cricket. Back when I lived in Western Australia, it was like a one-day match between like Pakistan and Australia. I believe they were actually against the Australian team, yeah. And all I remember was how passionate the Pakistani crowd actually was. Like they were setting up like drum circles in the stands and all that, and they were having like a good old party. And then I would look over at like the Australian crowd. And granted, they were having fun too, but it was like not. I don't know. It wasn't as lively, at least in my eyes. They're more there to like sort of drink and socialize, but they weren't as involved and invested into the game as the Pakistani crowd was in that instance. So I actually found myself kind of rooting more against my country at the time, just because, you know, they were having more fun, at least the kind of fun I wanted to have. And I'm curious if that's carrying over to Rocket League right now. I'm curious if that same passion is going to be shown. I have a feeling it will be, especially with what is, you know, always a rivalry matchup. Pakistan versus India is a international classic in the sporting world. So I'm excited to see, even if this is a show match, what exactly happens here.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's going to be a really exciting match, and it is a best of 7, and it's a great evening to have this match as well in Beckwith Park at night time, I believe. I think a lot of people are tuning in from different time zones as we are having the players finally join in. And this is going to be the start of the first game of the best of 7 series. Hopefully, all of you are really hyped in chat. I'm sure we all are. And Formal, if you want to take it away.
Oh, thank you very much. That's right. We are kicking off again. This is a best of 7. It's going to be India on the blue side, Pakistan in orange, aka Taipans in blue, Salt Esports in orange. And well, the Salt Esports side are going to have to start off on that back foot already. Abscrazy looking for demos on the tail end to try and help Taipan get some offensive firehouse. Good touch from Barwolf, though, off that backboard will disrupt the attack, at least momentarily.
Yeah, you can see them striking as soon as the game started. Now Hargun looking for an opportunity there, but all of team Salt Esports is back in net, having a good defense. Now there's an opportunity here for PriminiS. He looks for a shot, but just off target, and now Abscrazy is able to get it off the backboard. I want to Asphyx. He will look for a pass and play here, but gets denied by PriminiS. Abscrazy now for a pass. An opportunity here for Barwolf, goes off the backboard, but Hargun gets a good read off the backboard clear.
So something that I'm noticing already from Taipan is how they're attacking is very much one at a time. They're not really looking for many offensive passing plays. They're kind of going one go and hoping for sort of an awkward bounce in their favor. I think they're doing this to realistically sort of test this Salt Esports defense, whether or not they can kind of match up 1-versus-1 for them. And once Salt gets a little too accustomed for going for these one-on-one challenges, that's when we're probably going to see more of the dynamic pass plays come from the Taipan side. We know Taipan can do these passes. We're seeing it on the defensive half, but they've yet to implement that on the offensive half, at least just yet.
Yeah, they are just waiting with their venom to strike into the defense of Salt Esports there. But right now it's a bit of back and forth, which is good. Asphyx now will look for an opportunity here, but PriminiS gets that clear off into the corner. Hargun now, and an opportunity here, but just gets deflected away.
So India's also starting to creep a little bit more and more forward now with each one of these offensive rotations. During that first minute, they were playing more around midfield. During that second minute, they're up in that forward third. So they're starting to get a little bit hungrier for that goal. Expect more aggressive challenges as this game progresses, especially if Salt Esports defense continues to play as well as they are. They are doing a great job sort of handling this attacking pressure as Abscrazy again looks to go through that corner, but you can see the moment that the Taipan Esports squad starts to hesitate on the attack, they just get swarmed by the Salt Esports defenders. And I am really impressed right now with how well the Pakistani defense is holding up.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great defense that they're holding. It's almost as if they're a brick wall right now for against Taipan. Now Barwolf will get it past, but it passes back into the blue corner for Abscrazy. Now Abscrazy will look for the pass there. Asphyx gets an opportunity here. Anis will clear it off into the side. Now PriminiS, Barwolf with a great clear. A great rotations all around coming from Salt Esports to deny the attacks coming from Taipan right now.
Yeah, and let's see what they can do on the attack, because Taipan kind of taking their time in this defensive clear by slowing the pace down. It's not until midfield that Salt Esports are really in position to challenge, and we are starting to see a bit of error on the spacing and the rotation coming from the Salt Esports side. They got a little bunched up, but they don't get punished, and it nearly leads to a breakaway, I think. Taipan not expecting that much of a recovery from the Salt Esports formation. Still, it will lend to a backward setup. Asphyx is there, but from underneath, a beautiful clear out of PriminiS. And now, once again, Salt Esports are knocking on the Taipan door.
Yeah, it looks to me right now that Salt Esports is just waiting their turn and looking for that breakaway counterplay. But as I say that now, with a shot, and what a save by Honest.
But what a play by Barwolf to set up Honest. Honest didn't have the speed to get there until Barwolf actually knocked him in the corner into the saving play. If that is not defensive synergy, I do not know what is. Not expecting that at all from either of these teams, to be quite honest. That's a play you rarely even see at the highest level of RLCS, and yet somehow Salt's able to pull it off. That is a very impressive feat of teamwork right there.
Yeah, with less than 1 minute on the clock, what an exhilarating game. And as I say, that Hargun with that first goal for Taipan Esports.
Eventually, it was going to have to break, however. A good pass, but PriminiS was a bit too far back to rotate through that corner to get back into the middle of the field to realistically challenge. The end result is Hargun, the player who he highlighted as kind of the star player of this Taipan side, getting a free shot on net. And yeah, there was a defender there, but Hargun could have put that ball wherever that they wanted it to. And of course, they wanted to put it at the back of the net. So it's a 1-0 lead for Taipan. A lot of pressure for Salt to get a goal as we approach this final half minute. They need to find a way to get that ball back on the other side, and missing it off the backboard's not going to do it. Abscrazy makes it a 2-0 lead.
Absolutely phenomenal goal there. Off the backboard, PriminiS is not able to quite read it, and Abscrazy takes that opportunity and strikes his venom right into the net. 30 seconds remaining, and now we have Taipan Esports up by 2. Right now, they have figured out how to get through that Pakistani defense. But now, Salt Esports will try to answer back. Now, Barwolf with the ball gets denied, goes into the corner of Salt Esports. Anas with a clear. Barwolf will now try to get it past Asphyx.
From the server.
But now, Anas in the midfield.
Yeah, Anas trying to throw it forward. 10 seconds remaining in game number 1, and with that touch right there out of Hargun, I do not believe we're going to see that miracle comeback, at least not yet. Salt Esports fall in our opening game 0-2, but Taipan had to fight for that victory, I'd have to say. Very impressed overall with the Salt Esports defense. If they can find more opportunities to get some counterattacks and just realistically put even some more shots on target, 2 shots compared to the 9 from Taipan, it's not going to cut it overall in this series. They do still have some work to do.
Yeah, it seemed like Salt Esports was stuck in net for most of the time, and they looked for those counter plays, but Taipan Esports just kept attacking and attacking, and finally in the last minute of the game, they were able to break their defense and get those 2 goals. But definitely the first games might set a precedent, but most of these players, when you go to game 2, they are able to adapt to each player's individual abilities. So definitely this looks like a great matchup so far, and I'm definitely excited for the next game as well.
Yeah, so am I, and I'm curious to see what sort of adjustments Salt Esports made. Because if we look at the 2 goals that Taipan scored, one was a case of just an ill-timed pass back to the middle of the field where a defender wasn't ready for it, and the other was just a straight unforced error trying to make a backboard read that opened up the doorway. Essentially, it was 2 unforced errors. It wasn't a case of them necessarily being heavily outplayed. And those are the type of things that, as you progress in a series, if your mental stays strong, less and less of these occur. So I'm hoping that is the case for Salt, that we see a less of these little unforced errors, and they're going to be able to play a consistent game from start to finish. However, on the side of Taipan, they didn't make any of these real illicit unforced errors, and that's kind of why they're so scary. I do feel they are the more veteran team. As a result, they're probably going to be that more consistent team, and it's why that emphasis has to be put back on Salt to find more of these counterattacking opportunities and really put a bit more pressure against Taipan, because if Taipan plays another safe, conservative, clean game like that and gets a victory, then Salt Esports is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Abscrazy and PriminiS go for the kickoff. Asphyx looks for an opening opportunity there into the side wall. Hargun now will carry over the ball, but PriminiS gets a good clear there. Abscrazy in the midfield will pass it to his teammate. Hargun gets a bump onto Barwolf, but Asphyx also gets bumped there by PriminiS. A bit of back and forth banter from both teams now. Abscrazy getting demoed. Asphyx will try to get it past the Salt Esports defense, but a great clear, and this could be an opportunity. Asphyx with Hargun, and that was such a close redirect, but it was denied by Salt Esports.
Barwolf is just an angry player. It doesn't matter what team you're on. Barwolf is just going to throw a bump into you. You threw the teammate bump on Honest to get the save before, threw some bumps onto Hargun on that last attack just to make sure they wouldn't get the shot on. Even at the start of the game, as you called out, Barwolf was just looking for bumps, looking to get physical. And I have to admit, these are my favorite types of players to watch. So Barwolf is already making a fan out of me just with this sort of physical style gameplay. And it worked. It's kept Taipan off balance, and now Salt, they have a chance to attack.
Yeah, definitely. In the first game, you saw that Salt Esports was mostly back in the net, but now they're looking for a lot of attacking opportunities. Now Hargun with that beautiful redirect, but just off the target. Now, Barwolf gets the ball into the midfield, but gets denied by Asphyx. Abscrazy and Anas will go for the ball. Barwolf back in net. Will look for a pass to his teammate there, PriminiS. Following up the ball, will back out now for now, and it goes to Taipan Esports.
Yeah, let's see what Taipan can do on the attack. Barwolf kind of alone on defense, loses out on the 1v1, but fortunately you had PriminiS able to sort of rotate around as a bit of back and forth is happening. And what I find interesting about this exchange is that Salt Esports is starting to be the more aggressive team in terms of positioning. They're the ones sending themselves down the field to opponents' territory, and they need to be careful because if they get too aggressive, that counterattack from Taipan we know can be deadly. It can strike, unironically, like a Taipan. They need to be cautious they don't get too over-eager. I want to see him play more around the middle of the pitch as opposed to either backward, per se.
Yeah, definitely. And now Asphyx looking for that opportunity, a double touch. Abscrazy will go for that ball, but gets denied by the Salt Esports. That was an opportunity right there for Taipan to get their first goal in the second game of the best of 7 series. But right now, it looks a lot like the first game where there's a lot of back and forth. Both teams trying to get through the defense of each other. Now Asphyx will look for the pass there, Abscrazy off the wall into the corner. But PriminiS there to block it away. Now Barwolf will follow it up. A pass to Hargun, an opportunity, and Asphyx 1-2-3 play and into the goal. First goal for the game 2 for Taipan Esports.
And it's the first time in the opening, essentially 8 minutes of this series that we see what Taipan can do when they start to connect on those passing plays. It had been this solo assault from the word go, where they've been going at the goal one at a time. But the second they start to pass, immediately you can see what happens. A fast counterattack, an accurate counterattack, and a 1-0 lead. Now, we're just going to ignore the fact that we nearly saw the own goal off the kickoff. Don't worry, I saw that. It didn't go in, so we don't need to bring highlights to the fact that, oh my gosh, I think that was Asphyx nearly own goaled it straight away. But he did it. It's all good. Still 100 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And both these players now looking a lot stronger. Now Abscrazy will look for the pass. Asphyx not quite able to get in time as Anas gets the ball in play. Anas will try to get it past one, but gets denied by Hargun. Now he looks for a passing opportunity to Asphyx. Gets it past one, but deflects. But Abscrazy is right there. No one to follow it up now from Taipan Esports and will get cleared away.
Barwolf knows how to play backward defense as well. That was a really nice pass, but doesn't win the 1v1. Pinch it and drain it. That was a fantastic shot from Abscrazy working together with Hargun right here. A 121 km/h pinch to make it a 2-0 game.
Yeah, beautiful team play now coming from Taipan Esports. This is what we like to see in this series. A lot of team play coming compared to the first game where there were a few mistakes and which they capitalized on. Now Hargun and Asphyx and Abscrazy playing with that team synergy that we have seen in previous tournaments as they were veterans of previous tournaments as well, coming first in the APL Indian Nationals, as you know, previously.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this team is no slouch in Taipan Esports, and we're seeing sort of moments of brilliance coming from them right now. And I do feel like for Salt Esports, when the pressure starts to come on, that's when we start to see them falter. That's when we start to see the mistakes. They haven't really been able to handle what happens when Taipan starts to mix up their approach, get those passes in, and applies that little extra bit of dynamic pressure. I do feel as if to an extent Taipan has been kind of holding back their power level a little, and it showed in some of these offensive plays. In fact, even right now, you can sort of see they make the touch, but they're not following through on the touch. They're kind of sitting back. They're still waiting to see if Salt is going to make one of those mistakes. And once they know for sure they're going to have an open doorway at the goal, I think that's when the Taipan is going to strike. As it stands, they don't need to in game number 2. Clock hits 0, and Taipan advances 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, Abscrazy with the final touch there, and Taipan Esports again, similar to the first game, they got 2 goals. So it's definitely a close game, but Taipan Esports right now playing more aggressively and having that physicality over Salt Esports, definitely giving them the favorable outcome in this game too. But definitely Salt Esports, I think they might just be testing out the waters to make it a reverse sweep, is what I imagine what's going through Salt Esports minds right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I could see that happening. Granted, they still need to lose one more game before that. So is that you essentially saying, you know what, Taipan's going to win this next game as well?
Yep. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I hear you. I'm listening. I agree. Actually, I do think Taipan is probably going to win the next game as well, but only because we're seeing Salt Esports starting to get a bit more aggressive. I do agree in that regards. I mean, 4 shots in our second game compared to the 2 in game number 1, so you're doubling your shot output, but Taipan also was able to put more shots on net with 13. And when you are over tripling your opponent's shot count, I don't care if the score is 2-0. That, to me, tells me it was actually quite a dominant performance. And we saw it on the pitch. Yes, at times, Salt is able to get some attacking pressure, usually when Barwolf was able to find a clearing pass towards the middle of the field. But we also saw that game is what happens when Salt Esports pushes too far forward in desperate attempts to get that counter attack. What happens? You see pass play straight up the middle, and immediately Salt gets punished. And I know it's a little bit difficult when you're behind and you are aware that you can't play the entire game on that back foot, but you also can't leave yourself exposed as well. It's all about finding and picking those moments. And that's something where Salt has been struggling a little bit. I think that's something that comes with time, it comes with experience, but it also comes with as you learn your opponent. So with each passing game, I do feel it's more and more likely we're going to see the Salt Esports side turn it on and start to find more accurate counterattacks.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of these games come to adaptability. So in the first 2 games, even though Taipan Esports has taken the victory over Salt Esports, I think they definitely can come back from this. As per what I've said, they could come with a reverse sweep. So right now they're just testing out the waters, maybe getting a little bit of an idea of how Taipan Esports actually plays, as Anis now gets that beautiful breakaway, but no one to follow it up. Now Barwolf tries to get it past, but Abscrazy with the pass to Hargun. Abscrazy again with the awkward touch there, but Asphyx will be there, but gets demoed by Anis.
One thing that worries me, though, if Salt Esports' strategy is to test the waters, at some stage, they need to stop testing and start acting. And from what I've seen so far, if Taipan gets that first goal, Salt Esports starts to crumble. And that's why I worry you can't test too much. You've got to start to pull the trigger. And to their credit, we're seeing that right now. Barwolf nearly puts one on target. Abscrazy coming through with that backward save. Not enough to turn it into a clear, though, and Anas is staying super far forward, trying to keep that pressure on that Taipan backboard. Very successful job for Salt right now, yet Abscrazy still going to try to slow down the pace, but another one's play is won by the Salt Esports side. This looks very good. Barwolf, though, unable to get to the shot in time.
I like the aggression now that we're seeing in Salt Esports, but as I say that, Asphyx just gets it past the defense of Salt Esports, and I think that's a caster's curse. What do you think?
I think Asphyx shouldn't get credit for that goal. Give it to Honest for stealing it away. I don't care if it's an own goal. Honest was the one who put it in, and I'm going to call that Salt Esports' first goal of the series.
I mean, like I said, it's all about the mind games, you know? You make them think they're going to win the games and then just come back with the reverse sweep and absolutely demolish.
And they didn't score.
Mindset.
They didn't score. We scored that goal. It wasn't you, it was me. I scored it. I don't care who. You got the point, but I scored the goal, all right? Yeah, that's big brain thinking right there.
Yeah, it's all a big brain 200 IQ play coming from Salt Esports. And we will see that turnaround, I'm pretty sure. But as I say that, now Abscrazy in the corner. Anas will get it past. Now he's looking for an opportunity. Pass to PriminiS. But Asphyx and Hargun back in the net. Now Abscrazy with a clear. Anas, Barwolf will go, but Asphyx gets that past him. Hargun now into the midfield, a bit slowed down in the defense. Anas will look for an opportunity here, but not quite able to get the ball. Asphyx now has full control over the ball. Barwolf just waiting his opportunity here. Anas in the midfield, waiting for to put some pressure, but Asphyx now gets it past him, and all 3 players from Salt Esports rotate back into net.
As Hargun looks for that pass to the middle, but a little bit too hard. We'll get priority back over to the Salt Esports side. PriminiS not able to get the distance they were looking for, so instead we'll watch Barwolf from that back corner, throwing it all the way up to Asphyx, who can't keep it in the air, yet Honest wasn't able to find the right touch from underneath. Taipan with a chance to make it 2-0, but the ball will not fall in front of the net thanks to Anas able to fall through on that defensive effort. Cheeky little touch from Abscrazy, fakes the second, but it does cause a defensive miss. Fortunately, Barwolf yet again is there to sort of bail out the Salt Esports side.
Yeah, now Hargun in the midfield will rotate back into his corner. Barwolf putting a lot of pressure on both these players. Asphyx and Hargun double committed for that ball, but now it gets cleared off into the midfield. Anas will try to get an opportunity here with 1 minute 50 seconds remaining. Taipan Esports is only up by 1, so definitely Salt Esports can make a comeback in this game 3 of the best of 7 series as PriminiS now goes up, looks for an awkward touch, but Hargun absolutely reads it with the experience that he has. All these backboard players are absolutely easy for him, and now PriminiS with a beautiful shot but just off target.
Yeah, still, there's that attack still there, and Barwolf nearly gets the dunk! Oh, they're getting so close with each and every one of these attacks. Yet, unfortunately for them, Taipan, they're ready for it, and the faster team just made a mistake. Abscrazy completely misses the ball, but PriminiS unable to continue that attack, just was out of boost at a crucial moment. And it feels with each and every game like Salt Esports, they're getting closer and closer to getting that goal, but when you start to believe, the curse becomes real. Pass out of that corner straight down to Hargun makes it a 2-0 game.
And my God, it was a 3-man play there. The pass into the corner and Hargun to finish it off to put them up by 2. What a beautiful goal there by Taipan Esports. As now we head into the last 1 minute of the game. Salt Esports struggling to put a ball in the net, and as I say that, Hargun gets that 3rd goal.
Look, I don't mean to call this team out, but again, we've seen this in both of our first 2 games already. Once the floodgates open, that's when Salt Esports starts to make those mistakes. They haven't been able to play a clean game yet from start to finish, and all it takes is one defensive mistake, and Taipan is going to strike. I think this is one of the most aptly named teams I've come across because their ability just to sort of prey on their opponents and strike with quick and efficient shots. It's been pretty exciting and fun to watch. So ups to the Taipan, and unfortunately for Salt, they're looking like, well, perhaps your prophecy is going to come true because they're going to need that reverse sweep.
Yeah, I'm hoping my prophecy does come true, but as you said, the floodgates, when they score their first goal, it just keeps raining on them, and right now Salt Esports, will they look for a consolation goal? No, Asphyx said no, as he probably heard me and puts that 4th goal, and this probably the nail in the coffin for this game. And Taipan Esports is going to take game 3.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen a mid clear, this time from Barwolf, looking to pass it to a teammate across the middle that just was not there. Instead, it was a perfect pass back over to the Taipan side. Very unfortunate, a little bit of a breakdown in the defensive rotations would be the cause of goals like that. Ball is going to stay on the ground as the clock hits 0. 3 games in the book, my friend, and
yeah,
we are on the precipice of a clean sweep.
I mean, this is when it starts. Like I said, the reverse sweep, it's coming. I mean, people can keep their copium in chat, but I do believe they can come back. So right now, Taipan Esports winning this game 4-0, as you said, and it was a bit similar to game 1 and game 2, where when they first get their first goal, and that's when Salt Esports defense really breaks, and they were able to put those attacking opportunities, because definitely in the first half, Salt Esports played really, really well. If they could play like that for the next game, I definitely think they do have a chance, as both these teams are pretty equally matched up, in my opinion.
I have to agree with you, and here's the thing. Game number 1, Salt Esports, it was 2 shots to 8, I believe. Game number 2, 4 shots to 13. Game number 3, 6 shots to 6. We're actually even on that offensive pressure side of things. The big difference was Taipan's shots were coming off of counterattacks. They were coming off of those defensive mistakes, and more often than not, they were deadlier. Whereas Salt, they were just taking sort of desperate pot shots from the upper quarter, upper middle of the field. And while a few of them did get quite close, might I add, there was still always a defender back there. They were never able to get the defense off foot. But the takeaway I want people to get from this is we are seeing improvement with each and every game from the Salt Esports side. Now, back against the wall, they cannot afford any more slip-ups. They need to play 4 perfect games of Rocket League when they've still yet to finish one entirely complete one. I think it's going to be a tough ask, but if you believe, I'm going to believe right on with you, Cryptic. It's time to kick off our 4th and potential final game.
Yeah, now as we start in the kickoff, Abscrazy has control of the ball. Anas will try to get it past him. Not quite able to get it, but both players from Salt Esports back in net. Now looking for a shot opportunity, and the first goal for Salt Esports. Barwolf with that goal. He sees the opportunity and just strikes, and no one is back in Taipan Esports net.
And that is, perhaps a little bit of overconfidence coming to strike Taipan back right there. They press too far forward, and for the first time, realistically, all series long, they're the team that make the mistake, and I love seeing Salt Esports capitalize on it.
Yeah, Formel, like I said, it was all a ruse all along. Salt Esports is definitely coming back in this series. Now, they're staying a bit happy with the first goal, but definitely they should keep their aggression up. Now Asphyx gets that clear. Taipan Esports in the midfield. Hargun will try to get a pass, but PriminiS, beautiful shot there. Only one defender in net, but Asphyx gets that ball into the midfield. Now all players coupled up in the midfield, but Barwolf gets a demo there on Abscrazy. Hargun will look for some time to delay that opportunity as Abscrazy respawns. Now PriminiS with a shot opportunity, but Asphyx with that great defensive clear.
Anas needs to fall back right now. It's a 1v1 with Abscrazy. PriminiS gets the demo, so no backup for Abs. But Barwolf is actually the one who's able to rotate through and make the save. So Salt Esports stops a dangerous situation, at least until Asphyx was able to sort of take that away in the middle of the field. Hargun now going up for a play. Doesn't really get the touch they were looking for, as the back and forth does get set up. Or does it? Anas actually follows it through, gets it over the top of one attacker. But this is to set up that counterattack. Asphyx stayed on the opponent's end after the last attack. They go for the 1-2-3, post the first shot, runs into a defender the second shot, and no goal is to be scored.
Yeah, now it's a little bit of back and forth from both these teams. Hargun now trying to get it past Barwolf. The ball will flail in the midfield now. No one going for it. Abscrazy gets it past Anas, not able to read it. PriminiS, Asphyx now. Hargun in the midfield, but no one to follow it up with, as Salt Esports creating a brick wall in the defense there. Abscrazy now looking for a shot. He will follow it up and try to put some pressure, but Barwolf gets that beautiful clear. Now, the players from Salt Esports moving in to make a play there now, and a great pass to Barwolf, but not quite on target there.
As that's a great waterfall setup, but Barwolf isn't able to follow it through. A missed opportunity for Salt, yet the attack continues. PriminiS only had to beat Abscrazy, but Abs does enough on defense to make the save, and now it's a breakaway. No one in the net. Asphyx going to pass it up to themselves, doesn't get the second touch, as Hargun doesn't let the ball fall to them. That's Barwolf able to steal it away. Both of these teams are getting these dangerous attacking opportunities, but it's slight offensive mistouches on both sides that are holding each team back.
Yeah, now as Hargun goes for that beautiful flick but gets denied, as Salt Esports doesn't want to give that one goal lead away, but as I say that, Abscrazy hits that goal right into the net, evening out the score for the first time. I think this is the first time we have seen an even score for the entire series.
Yeah, that could be the case. Look, chat, I am reading you. I have to admit, I do like to read the chat. I'm curious what you're talking about, Caster Dead, what we kind of missed out on there. It's probably the TeamSpeak chat. I think that's what's going on. Either way, 1-1 game right now. Tie ball game. Salt Esports, they're watching that lead sort of crumble away from them. Let's see what Anas is going to be able to do. It's a swing and a miss. And now Asphyx is going to be the one who takes the place, looking for that backward setup. But PriminiS is there.
From the server.
And I'm going to say this right now. Salt Esports has better backboard defense than 80% of the teams in the Oceanic region. I'm just going to straight up say it right there. I've been so impressed with the backboard defense, more so than anything else this game.
I mean, that's a huge statement. Of course, they have played in multiple regions, probably why they're accustomed to making such great clears from their side. As now Hargun with a beautiful opportunity.
I'm talking about specifically the backboard defense, and this is more of a knock on OCE teams. Like, a lot of them just can't play backboard defense to save their life. It's hilarious. Either way, though, Asphyx is going to go ahead and try to drive it forward. And runs into PriminiS. Of course, I'm talking about ODL teams specifically. Either way, PriminiS looking to play it through that corner, can only go so far with it. That's going to set up Barwolf, who puts it off that backboard while falling it down. Anas is there, but cannot find that accurate shot. 1 minute left in regulation, and Barwolf does get the rebound off the post. It looked like they missed it, but it was all part of the big brain plan, and Salt Esports takes a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, Barwolf just perfectly places himself as he gets that rebound into the net. Hargun not able to read that. I don't think anyone could. And now Salt Esports is up by 1 with 53 seconds remaining on the clock. A lot of aggression now coming from Salt Esports, pressuring Taipan Esports in the net. They're not able to make any attacking opportunities right here. With 40 seconds on the clock, Salt Esports are up by 1. Will Taipan Esports answer?
I don't think they're going to this game because PriminiS has an open net, and we now got a 3-1 scoreline. Salt Esports, with that goal, are looking to take us to that game number 5.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful plays now coming from Salt Esports. They've finally revved up their engines, and it's hot and ready to make the best series for the night, as Salt Esports now says, look out, here we are.
Oh, well, that said, Anas has to keep that ball held up high. Asphyx was kind of waiting for any sort of misstep. Instead, it's going to be Hargun trying to set it up, but enough time was bought for the Salt Esports side to collect that boost, prepare themselves for this defensive effort. 13 seconds left on the clock, and I do not believe Taipan's going to pull off any 2-goal comebacks. Still going to try, though. Shot from mid-pitch does run into Barwolf, and that will do it for game number 4. Salt Esports get a game on the board.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful, beautiful games coming from both these teams. Finally, Salt Esports coming on the scoreboard. A great, great aggression coming. You can see they have a total of about 9 shots, and you can just see the pace of the game has totally changed in this game 4. And I think with that, maybe we can move on to the analyst desk for more.
Yeah, I think we might be able to jump to the analyst desk. Look, a little behind the scenes. Our analyst desk was ready to go after that 3rd game, but then all of a sudden the players were like, nah, we got to keep moving ourselves. So that said, I think it is time we bring Bob back in just to sort of have a little bit of a wonder. You know, what are your thoughts so far of this series?
Honestly, I've been impressed the last couple of games. In the beginning, I was a little bit nervous. I thought Pakistan might get swept, and I was a little bit scared. But, thankfully in that 4th game, they're looking a lot stronger. You see Barwolf, honestly, popping off, I gotta say. He's playing really well. He's getting passes, he's scoring goals, he's bumping. He's doing a lot on the field. And, yeah, I think Pakistan has a chance now. A reverse sweep's not easy in a best of 7, but it's not impossible either. So you never know.
What I'm loving, though, is the increments of 2 that I'm seeing from Salt Esports. Like, game number 1, it was 2 shots. Game 2, 4 shots. Game 3, 6 shots. Game 4, guess what? It was 8 shots to Taipan's 4. So that was the first game we actually saw Salt Esports being on the attack for a majority of the play. Very interesting to note. It does look as if our players are jumping back in, Bob. So real quick before we go, do you believe in the reverse sweep? Are we going to see it?
I'm Pakistani, so I gotta say I believe. I think it's possible.
I love it. All right. I like it how you've changed from your original prediction now. I'm going to hold you to that prediction. We are going right back on to the pitch. It does look like game number 5 kicking off as we look for that reverse sweep. And as things are starting off, because we're starting to see that comeback, I have to say one thing. And one of the big reasons why I feel Salt is starting to make that comeback is more consistent play from the player who just touched the ball right there. PriminiS was the one who made a couple of those unforced errors earlier, but in game number 4, they were consistent from start to finish, and you can see the entire team play better as a result.
And as you say that, PriminiS gets that first goal, something similar to what we saw last game. Barwolf, great pass, Asphyx and Abscrazy back in net, but not quite able to read that, and beautiful 100 kph goal coming from PriminiS. Salt Esports are serious about this game 5 now, as you see a lot of aggression coming out straight off the 30 seconds mark. Now, Taipan Esports have to bring back the form that they showed in the first 3 games.
Oh my gosh, that was, I believe in the big ring. Barwolf intentionally missed that to get the awkward double commit, knowing he would have enough time as Taipan tries to figure out what's going on to rotate back around and get that attacking touch. Brilliant play from Barwolf. He knew exactly how to get past the defenders in that. Also, look, PriminiS, just saying, I saw that goal coming a mile away. I called it. That's the opposite caster curse. I'm gonna take credit for it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, definitely. I think you are the one person who was voting for Salt Esports at the beginning of the game. So definitely, I can agree with you. But now Salt Esports will look for more opportunities, almost hitting Abscrazy out of the way. Could have been a great opportunity there. Hargun now into the defense, looking for a shot there, but gets deflected. Now Abscrazy in the midfield, PriminiS now looking for his attacking play. A lot of aggression coming from this player in this series. Barwolf now a breakaway opportunity, but Hargun will look for the pass onto his teammate, but they will back off.
Oh. Barwolf is actually starting to make a couple more mistakes than what we've seen in the past, especially on that defensive side. Hargun going to find that backward pass to Abscrazy, who takes it underneath. And with 3:06 to go, Taipan Esports strike back, equalizing our game up.
Yeah, now this is something that we saw in Game 4. PriminiS getting that first goal and then Taipan Esports answering back. Definitely a lot of aggression coming from both these teams. 3 minutes on the clock. It could go either way. But right now, in my opinion, Salt Esports is looking like the stronger team here. PriminiS with a beautiful shot. Abscrazy with a clear. This could be an opportunity, but a great deflection and a lot of synergy coming there from the defense of Taipan Esports. Barwolf now with an opportunity there, and will slow down the ball so that his teammates can rotate back into net.
Yeah, Abscrazy going to try and set something up, but too many defenders wind up in the way. Still a lot of time in our next game. Remembering that if Taipan do get the victory here, they are going to be that, winners of the series, as we see Barwolf off the backboard, a double touch to spike it in.
And I think
Esports showing we can be mechy as well.
Yeah, as you spoke, he heard that, and he had to bring out this crazy double tap into the net. What a beautiful play from Salt Esports now, looking strong as ever.
Yeah, that is a massive lead right now for Salt Esports. A chance to take it to Game 6, and we can joke about how, reverse sweeps, yeah, it's all scripted, it's all going to happen, but this is when you start to believe. And then PriminiS completely misses the ball. Open net, but no, it's stopped by Barwolf. Who else making the save from behind?
No, it's actually scripted. I have it right here. No, I'm kidding. But right now, Salt Esports definitely making it look like that, as they are having great team synergy. A lot more from the first 2 games that they played, where they got absolutely demolished by Taipan. But now they're answering back with these great creative plays that I love to see. Great rotations from their side. Now Barwolf looks for an opportunity, and Taipan Esports rotating back into net. Anas will look for slowing down the ball here. Abscrazy tries to get it past him. Asphyx with the pass. Will Hargun go for it? Asphyx with another touch there. Barwolf now into the midfield, and Hargun gets that beautiful clear.
And Hargun's going to nearly take it to the house, but PriminiS is able to make the save from behind. And we're seeing these solo plays that was so successful for Taipan at the start of this series start to falter. The defense coming from the Salt side, they've been able to adjust, and now they're holding it back. That said, Hargun's going to find the follow-up touch, and this time it's the pass that gets the defense off balance. It's the pass that ties the game up 2 apiece with 1:01 to go.
Yeah, Abscrazy could have gone for the shot there, but he saw Hargun and he passed it to him, making it a bit more unpredictable for Salt Esports defense there. And that is what we like to see in this game 5 of Taipan Esports versus Salt Esports. Definitely great plays and creative plays coming from both these teams. And now they're set even with both teams having 2 goals on the scoreboard. And this will now look into the midfield. Hargun looking for a pass to his teammate. Asphyx back to Hargun maybe. Abscrazy gets it past him, but gets denied by Salt Esports.
You definitely are starting to get that vibe that this series might be at its breaking point one way or the other. Barwolf unable to find that shot, and guess who was cheating forward? It's Hargun. Going to try to make the setup happen through the corner, looking for that second touch, but no teammates there to follow up initially. Abscrazy has to go for the double, doesn't make contact, but Asphyx does, and with 17 seconds left, the delayed attack coming from Taipan break the defense of Salt.
Yeah, Asphyx with that beautiful shot. Salt Esports have been saying they will come back with a reverse sweep, but right now Taipan is not letting that go through as they get that 3rd goal. Right now Salt Esports has to answer back immediately, because with 12 seconds on the line, that's what they have. But as I say that, Hargun puts that icing on the cake, being up by 2 goals with 10 seconds on the clock.
And this is the worst possible time for the Achilles heel of Salt to become exposed once more. As soon as things start to fall apart, that's when Taipan, they strike, and they pull away just out of reach. 5 seconds, not going to be enough time today. Salt Esports and Pakistan are going to fall that little bit short. However, credit where credit is due. They're going to try and get one more goal in, not quite find it. Taipan and India, they came up today as the favorites, and they showed us why through slightly more consistent play. They survive this encounter with Salt Esports.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing players. I have to give credit where it's due because Hargun, Abscrazy, Asphyx, BO7 PriminiS, and all these players have played incredibly this evening with Salt Esports almost coming back in those last games. They definitely revved up their engines and they were fighting for those goals. But today, Taipan Esports strikes a venom into their opponents and they come out victorious. And with that, I think maybe we want to move back to the analyst desk for more analysis on all of these games today.
You know what? I think you're absolutely correct. And also because Bop is our one analyst desk member, Bop is now legally required to change their name to analyst desk. And that's just what they're going to be referred to from now on. But throwing it back to you, we started to believe in the reverse sweep. And even in what turned out to be our fifth and final game, it did feel like to me that there was hope that perhaps Salt could do it. And then it all fell apart. So, Bop, I have to ask, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was hope as well. You saw Barwolf there in that last game. He got like a nutty double touch. And yeah, I thought it was possible. I thought it was. But then towards the end, you could just see, I think maybe some pressure got to them. You know, there were some defensive mistakes. And yeah, India just, they were able to capitalize. And you saw it throughout the whole series as well. Like India were always a little bit more solid, you know. They had tiny bit better rotations, you know, everything was just a little bit more clean compared to Pakistan, who like, their defense just wasn't as strong. You could see them making some mistakes every once in a while. And it was a close game. It was fun. It was exciting. There were good goals. And yeah, it was a good match.
I'll add a few things to this. The thing is, the main reason what I feel like is lack of experience and lack of opportunity. The thing is that Pakistan never gets a chance to play in Asian tournaments or Middle Eastern tournaments because Pakistan is only allowed to play in European tournaments. And the ping disadvantage and all of the issues which adds up to we don't get that opportunity to actually compete on good ping. So I feel like that Sonic should do something about Pakistan as well, that we should be allowed to play in Asian or Middle Eastern tournaments because EU is absurd.
Yeah, no, but like I want to carry on with your point real quick though, and that is why during the game I highlighted particularly the backboard defense I saw from Salt Esports and the Pakistani team, because I have found in the past that there are teams that can be mechanically really strong and individually sort of great players, but these teams always lack that backboard defense. But what I saw from the Pakistani squad was the backboard defense. It was consistent.
Exactly.
And
Hey,
I
wake
think
up.
there was like maybe one goal that happened off the backboard that Taipan was able to score. And to me, that tells me, okay, this is a mature team. This is
Insufficient
actually a strong
permissions.
team. They've got an idea of fundamentally how to play, because that is an aspect of Rocket League that very few teams understand
Insufficient
until they get
permissions.
to a very high level. So the
User
fact
was
that we're
moved to
seeing
your
that from the
channel.
team that kind of finished in 5th place tells me that 100% yes, this is a region that, if given that proper support and structure from Psionics, could absolutely thrive and excel.
Yeah, I completely agree. I reckon like the Salt Esports team, you throw them in OCE, you throw them in SAM, you give them experience, you know, time to build, and I reckon, you know, they could be a big threat.
So on that note, I do believe we might actually have an interview, not from Salt Esports right away, but actually from our winning side of Taipan, Abscrazy, kind of jumping in. First and foremost, man, congratulations on your victory. Have to ask, was this sort of that expected result, or did Salt Esports challenge you in more ways than you necessarily were expecting? That's Abscrazy.
User was moved to your channel.
Microphone might not be working. Are we here? We are not here.
All right.
Okay, well,
We have the Pakistan team captain, Anas, over here. So
all right, so we might throw it to Anas instead first while we try to fix Abscrazy's microphone. Anas, have to ask you then. First question going your way. a little bit of the unfortunate result, obviously not quite what you're looking for, but you were able to take one game away. What was your sort of takeaway from that series as a whole?
To be honest, it was all about just being confident. Like in the start, we were shaky and like the entire team was not in that state of flow that we usually are, and that developed at the end. But there was a few misplays on our side that led to this defeat. I'm pretty sure we could have had it if we were given it more time and we had more practice. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
So yeah, those unforced errors on the defensive side, I think, as you kind of called out, did sort of hurt the situation at times. However, it should be worth noted, with each game, it did feel like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to finish that question, I suppose.
No, wait. He got
User
accident.
was moved to your
Oh,
channel.
okay, we are back. There we go.
Yeah,
sorry, just
Unless your mic
Okay.
is a bit. There's a little background noise.
It's okay. Just real quick question, and then before you get randomly thrown away, it did feel like after each game there was improvement with the team, and you guys are feeling stronger and stronger and stronger. And I know you rarely see any series go over a best of 7, but had we gone to a best of 9 or a best of 11, do you think you would have been able to like pull off that sweep and bring it back just because of the momentum starting to go your team's way?
Yeah, I think we would have been able to do it because as we get on into the fourth game, when we won that game, we knew exactly what we were doing wrong and we were correcting it along the way. It was just that we lacked the consistency to do it sometimes, and that led to that flow being interrupted, and that's why we got scored on it once, and then we had a few errors again, and then we got scored on again. So that's what stopped the sweep. But I think we could have made it into the best of 11, and we could have reverse sweep the team. But
Yeah,
it was a good try. I mean, to be honest, the only thing we can do now is learn from what we did wrong, and get excel next time.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys, like, what kind of tournaments do you guys play in? I know you guys don't have too many opportunities, especially in Pakistan, but I was wondering, like, what kind of stuff do you do with your team, and, like, yeah, what do you guys do, basically?
Yeah, so in Middle East, we don't really get freeze matches anymore because of our rank. We're like high GC1s or GC2s. So we don't really get matches because not a lot of people are playing at this rank in the league. So instead, what we just do is every night at 10 p.m. we get these in-game tournaments. And we only get like 4 to 5 games. We go to the finals, we go to the semi-finals, or we win those tournaments, and that's just it. That's the only games we get to play per day. So, and then we go to Europe. Sometimes I convince my team to play on 180 ping. I play on 180 ping all the time in 2s and 1s. So I convinced them to play 3s with me on that server. It was really tough at the start, so we dropped it. But I think we can definitely play on here better if we give it more time because we can find games there. And that's what matters at this point. It's all practice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely for you guys. And yeah, lastly, I just wanted to say, if there's anything you want to say to like you guys as fans or anything, like in Urdu or in English, either way, if you want to say anything, you know, you have the floor.
To everyone, I would just like to say that this was just the beginning of a new competitive environment for Pakistan. And I know that we lost this time, but the good thing about us is that we don't take losses as, oh yeah, we just lost, what are we going to do now? We take them as learning opportunities. So the next time we head into a tournament or a match representing our country, it won't be the same. We won't repeat those mistakes that we did this time.
User in your channel was kicked from the server.
So I'm just going to tell you that we're gonna bring it home for Pakistan next time, inshallah.
All right. I like hearing that. Very, very confident and very well spoken. Again, sorry the results didn't go your way today, but I have to admit from that outsider looking in, I feel you've 100% kind of proven your point, and particularly how mature your team's defense played in that matchup. So excited to see more from you in the future. And again, thank you so much for participating.
Thank you so much for having me.
On that note, I do believe hopefully Abscrazy now will be able to join us. Abscrazy, are you able? Is your microphone working?
Yeah. Yep. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Loud and clear. So To carry off where we left off before, first of all, congratulations on your victory. I have to ask,
User
though,
was moved out of
it
your
seemed to
channel.
me that, like, Salt Esports came in there and they challenged you guys perhaps in ways that you weren't expecting. Was this sort of the match? Did it play out in the way that you thought it would, or was it a bit more of a challenge than you were expecting?
Well, yeah, it feels good to win, first of all. And yeah, I think we did expect the result. I'm not going to lie. But like in the fourth game, when we like sort of slacked a little bit, they did capitalize on that. So it wasn't something that, you can't just run over them. So yeah, they did prove themselves in some context,
Yeah, I mean, and I guess from that point there, moving on, obviously when you sort of look at the regions for you and your team being a little bit closer, as opposed to where a lot of Asian tournaments are held in the past, where you have those abilities to play against teams from, like, let's say Singapore or Indonesia, whereas Pakistan still that little bit further away, don't get that sort of same exposure. Instead, they wind up playing against teams from like EU and all that. How much do you actually get to play against and scrim against teams like Salt, and do you feel that there could be value in that moving forwards?
Well, we scrim like Singaporean and Japanese teams all the time. So that's there. So we get a lot of practice there. But with Pakistan, we scrimmed them once before. And apart from that, like, I haven't really seen them active that much. So I think like it's not their fault. Like they need more exposure, as you said, right? And they need more practice with like better teams, and that's how you improve.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob, do you have anything?
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations to you again. And I wanted to
Thank
ask,
you.
like, what are your guys' like future plans with the Rocket League? I know, like, we were talking about Asia doesn't get too many opportunities, unfortunately, but hopefully in the future, maybe with Psionics and other organizations, they help, bring Asia more into the Rocket League scene. So I was curious, like, what are your guys' goals in the game?
I mean, right now we're practicing to become the best in Asia. So we're definitely trying for that. And yeah, I think to compete with like NA and EU and Middle East, like we just need more scrims and more high level tournaments. We need more exposure to players like really really ILCS level players. So I think that's what we need right now. And then like once that starts and once Psionics gets Asian tournaments right, everybody will start grinding, and that'll just improve the region as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. And then lastly, again, I wanted to give you the floor if you want to say anything in Hindi or in English to your fans and people watching. Yeah, you can take it away.
I'm not really, but it feels good. Hopefully, Indian Rocket League can improve and get have the best in Asia title someday. Hopefully.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you to both of our teams, both our players, and for everyone for tuning in and watching. Again, I kind of feel like the outsider looking in. So, Bob, I'm going to give the closing honors over to you. I think you'll be able to summarize everything a lot more concisely than I would on this night.
Yeah, honestly, I think we had some great Rocket League today. It was really fun watching. I'm happy it wasn't a sweep. I'm happy at least, it was a competitive series. Pakistan showed up towards the end, and it was good stuff. I was excited. It was a good match. I'm happy that, we had a good match today. And, I'm excited for the future with these guys. I think Indian team especially, in the future, maybe with international lands, maybe we could see this team and even Seoul Esports, if they're both at international lands, they get more experience, get more
User
exposure.
disconnected from your
I
channel.
reckon they can have good chances, and it'll be fun to see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm hoping for more events and even more show matches and absolutely more exposure. I mean, seeing over 100 people in the Twitch chat tonight does tell me, you know what, there is very much an interest in these games. I know I was very interested. I was super happy to be brought on as late as it was, and I'm excited to see more of that in the future. But on that note, it is time to sign off for tonight. So a big thank you to both the teams again for playing, as well as, of course, as Cryptic Zane for joining me casting, Bop as well, aka Analyst Desk Bop, Hydra on that broadcast and chiming in about the exposure needed as well. 100% agree with what's being said. And a thank you to all of you who are tuning in and supporting this scene. Hope to see more of you in the future. My name has been Formal, and until next time, have a great day, everybody.
All right.